Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Salty Country. This past week was interesting. Last Sunday, the temperature was in the 70s, short sleeve shirts, and by that night, temperature had dropped, I don't know, by dark, it had probably dropped to 40 something degrees. And I think it was 24 degrees the next morning, high of 40 the next day, back into the 20s again. So that was Monday and Tuesday. And Wednesday night, Melody and I headed out to Florida, spent a few days down there. A lot of leaves have fallen, and I think I'm gonna get out here with a lawnmower and try to get these things blowed out of the yard. The grass is kind of already turned kind of brown from the cold, but yeah, we went down to Florida. We typically go down there this time every year for the Blue Angels season-ending air show. This year, because of the government shutdown, it was canceled, but we did get to see them flying while we were out and about. I may share some of that footage in here. It's just short footage, but they were flying for the locals, and they reopened the base down there, I think Friday morning. They had taken a bunch of non-essential personnel from Guantanamo Bay, and while those folks were there, they closed the base. But anyway, this morning it is overcast, and there's not supposed to be any rain. I'm trying to look and see a big hawk just landed here in a tree in front of me. I'll see if we can get him on here in just a second. But we'll see what the weather does today. I'm gonna get the lawnmower out, and we'll see if we can get these leaves blowed quickly. And I may work on the rock wall. How long do you think that took for me to get the leaves off this part? 20 minutes. That's it. All right, started over here. Finished up over here in the front. About 35, 40 minutes. Okay, it's probably been a week or so since the grass cutting. It's been an interesting week though. I need to share a very interesting story. All right, so as you know, in some of the past episodes, if you've watched them, I've struggled with sound on some of the videos. Just hasn't been the quality that I would like, but it's all I had at the time. So I tested a couple different microphones. They didn't pan out. So I talked with, or sent a message to Sam at TriStar Digging. He's got a channel on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Good channel. And asked him what he was using, because the quality in his videos were really nice. And he had gone through some changes in his channel also of getting better content, better equipment, that kind of stuff. So Sam told me, hey, after I asked him what he was using, he goes, hey, I'm using DJI Action 5 Pro camera and the DJI Mic 2. So I started doing research, looked at a lot of content on YouTube, and those cameras seem to be pretty good for content. The Action 5 Pro has an internal memory, so you can, say for instance, you got your SD card in it, you're recording, and for some reason you go over the memory of your card, the camera will internally store your footage so you don't lose it. So I thought that was a nice feature. And also the DJI Mic 2s come with a transmitter, but the DJI Action 5 Pro has an internal transmitter, so you can sync those microphones right directly to the camera. You can sync up to 2 microphones with the camera. So I was like, yeah, this is what I need. That way when I'm out doing something and I'm on a piece of equipment, I can explain what I'm doing. I think the mics have up to 800 feet of reception from the receiver. So anyway, lots of research, and I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So I set off on an adventure of see if I can find these cameras. And there's something going on with the tariffs. So all of a sudden these cameras are hard to find. So I end up talking to a rep at Best Buy. And this is where the story gets interesting. Best Buy is not what you think it is. All right, so talked to the rep at Best Buy, and he told me that they did not have any of the Action 5 Pros available in the normal kits that they sell them, but they had, and I was looking for an adventure kit, which it comes with a 3-pack battery charger, 3 batteries, and a selfie stick and some other stuff. But I wanted the adventure kit, not the base kit. So the only thing that Best Buy had was the adventure kit with a vlog kit included. And he said that's the only thing that's available nationwide is this. And so I looked at it and I was like, well, this looks pretty nice. If you want to vlog, then it had like a little tripod that came with it, lights that you could put on a desk if you're filming content. And I was like, okay, this looks decent. And that same tripod, you could mount it on a tree if you're filming, if you didn't have a good place to put up a tripod. And I was like, well, this may work out all right. So I ordered that from Best Buy, and it wasn't cheap. And I don't know, a week later it arrived. But in the meantime, I was looking for the DJI Mic 2s. All the stores were sold out of them. And I think the tariffs, DJI products are made in China, but my first drone was a DJI. They do some things very well, and other things they do is very cheap, but their drone technology is great, and their camera and microphone technology is great. So I found the DJI Mic 2 on eBay, and I've had good success with eBay. I've had some hiccups here and there, but in the long run, the owners or the sellers always make things right. So if you ever have problems with them not making it right, eBay will make it right for them, and then it'll affect their rating on eBay if they don't take care of their customers. So I found the 2 mics on eBay, and granted, I'm new to this whole system. I'm not familiar with it other than just research I've been doing. So I ordered the mics. The mics came in on Friday. It's now Sunday. So I got up Saturday morning. I had already, last week I'd already got the camera, turned it on, synced it with my app on my phone. Oh yeah, and the camera, you can see what's on the camera, and you don't even have to walk over to it. I can be on the equipment, have it on my phone, hit play, stop, all that stuff right from the piece of equipment. So I had updated the firmware, went through all that stuff, and gonna start testing yesterday for new content. And by the way, I'm filming on my iPhone this morning, so that may explain or let you know that there's been a little bit of a hiccup. So it's all good, but I'm gonna explain how Best Buy plays in this. All right, so Saturday morning, I got the microphones out that I ordered from eBay. Got the camera, trying to sync them, won't sync. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? So, got on YouTube, very good source for research and stuff. And the microphones that DJI has built in the past, let me explain this really quick. The original clip-on microphones was called the DJI mic. Came with 2 microphones and a transmitter, just like the DJI Mic 2s. Okay, so let me back up. They had DJI mic was the first version. DJI Mic 2 was the second version. They've since come out with a DJI Mic 3 and a DJI Mini and a DJI Mini Pro. I didn't want the minis because the minis have a magnet. That's the only way it holds on your clothes, and being out on equipment and stuff like that, I would lose it or lose the mic or whatever. So I wanted the clip-on. And you can't find the Mic 3s, but the Mic 2s specifically work with the 5 camera, the Action 5 Pro. So while I was researching the mics I had received, I figured out that the person advertised the microphones as the DJI Mic 2, but they were the original DJI mics, the version 1. And the version 1s will not work unless you use the transmitter that comes with the microphones. So I didn't want to have crap hanging off the side of my camera where you have to plug something in, you got this receiver hanging down. The camera has an internal receiver. I just wanted the microphones. I wanted it to be a clean operation, easy. So I reach out to the seller on eBay and I let them know that, hey, you advertise these as DJI Mic 2s, but they're actually not. They're DJI mics, the original version 1. So I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I said, all right, you know what? Learn my lesson. I was only gonna save about 25 bucks or so by buying these things on eBay. So I look on Best Buy and they say they have some, but their site's very not user-friendly. So I called the number for the store that's closest to me. And here's where it starts getting interesting. When you call a specific store with Best Buy, you're not really calling that store, but the people on the phone will make you think you're talking to that store. These people are probably not even in America. So I call, and I learned this through this process, but anyway, I call the number for the store. You have to go through all the AI garbage that wants to help you and insist on talking to an agent. So finally it gets me to an agent. And I tell them I'm looking for the DJI Mic 2s. And so I told them I'm between two Best Buy stores. One is like 25 miles and the other one is like 30 miles in the opposite direction. So I told them, I said, hey, let me know if either one of these stores have these mics and I'll just go pick them up. Because you can order and pick up in the store in 1 hour. That's what their site says. That's what the rep told me, okay? So, let me back up for just a second when I ordered the camera. So a week prior, I ordered the camera. And I have a Best Buy account, so I bought stuff in the past. So I was talking to a rep. They sent me an invoice. You go on the site, or you click on the invoice and it takes you to the site, wants you to log in and pay for the item, and then they'll ship it, or you can go to the store if they have it closed and you can just pick it up. So I'm trying to log in and the site will not send me a verification code. It's got like a two-step process for verification. So it either texts you or emails you a code, a 6-number code, and you got to put that code in so it'll let you log in fully. So it wouldn't let me log in. It wouldn't send me a code, put it that way. When it got to that step, it would not send a code. It wouldn't send it email, it wouldn't send it text. So I had to call the rep back, because by then your invoice only has so long and then it expires. So long story short, they sent me 2 invoices. The 2 invoices expired before I could log in because the site was jacked up. On the 3rd invoice they sent me, I logged in as a guest and was able to pay for it. So the customer no service they had told me, says, well, you're just gonna have to wait till the site works again. But anyway, I figured it out. So fast forward back to yesterday, and I was on the phone with these guys about the microphones. And he goes, oh yeah, the store that's the closest to you, the one that's like 25 or 28 miles, ever how close it is. He said, they have it there. I'll send you an invoice, pay for it, and you can go pick it up in the store in 1 hour. So I go online, and he was still on the phone when I started to pay for it. And here's this dreaded login again. He goes, hey, just go log in as a guest. And I'd already figured that out on the last order. So that let me know right then that they weren't really taking care of the problem on their website. The problem had been lasted for over a week with me dealing with them. And I don't know how long the problem lasted before that. So I paid for the mics, and so I'm in the process of returning the mics I ordered from eBay because I had contacted that seller. And I just went on Best Buy and bought these new mics. So I told Melody, I said, hey, when you get ready, you and I'll run to the store and pick up these microphones, and I'll get out here and start testing. So let's see, this was about 10:30 yesterday morning. We left, drove up to the Best Buy store, and get there about 11 o'clock. I got the order number and all that stuff. Well, when I'm at the counter to pick up, the guy's asking me, he says, well, what about the email? And I was like, I didn't get an email. He says, well, usually orders aren't ready until you get an email. And I said, well, your site says available for pickup in store in 1 hour. And the rep I was talking to told me that I could pick it up in the store in 1 hour. And I had ordered them at 9:30, so 10:30, so it was actually an hour and a half later. All right, so he calls back to their warehouse in their store and says, hey, I need you guys to put a priority on this order, blah, blah, blah. So he tells me to come back in about 15 minutes. So Melanie and I are walking around looking at some of the different items they got in the store. And they got some really good deals on some TVs right now. It's amazing how cheap TVs are. So about 20 minutes later, I walked back up and said, all right, we good to go? And he's like, no, they're still looking. Just give us a few minutes. So long story short, we spent an hour in the store and a couple conversations of, no, they're still looking. Nobody coming to me and saying anything. I was always having to go to them and ask. So I finally walk up to him after an hour and said, all right, what options do I have? Because I'm not going to stand here all day. I've been in the store an hour now. I'm not standing here all day. What's my options? He says, well, we can't find them. And I said, okay, does the other store that's close to me, which is at this point, it's about 50 miles because I had to drive in the opposite direction. I was in the middle when I first started. So he goes, yeah, that store has 2 of them. I was like, okay. So they canceled my order, and Melody and I drive 50 miles, which is only about 30 miles from the house, but we just drove almost 25 miles in the opposite direction. So get to the other store, tell them what I'm looking for. Did not order anything online. I just went there and said, hey, they told me you have these. He looked it up. He goes, yep, we have them. He goes, let me go get them. Well, he had us following back to the display where they're on display. They're not locked in the case. Checked another case, they're not locked there. He goes, all right, they must be up on the shelf, up on top of the rack in a locked area. So he had us go up by the counter. He pushed over a ladder. He gets up there and he's looking for probably 5 minutes. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, is this gonna turn south like the rest of my experience with Best Buy? So he finally finds them. He finds the box, and I pay for them. Mel and I grab us some lunch, and then we head home. By this time, it is probably 12:30 Alabama time, 1 o'clock Alabama time, somewhere in there, 2 o'clock Georgia time. And so anyway, we get back home, I get the camera out, and because I had to charge the microphones. They come in a case, and you just got to let them charge. I think they'll run for like 15 hours or something once you charge them. So I said, I'm all right. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna take the camera, and I'm gonna do some testing with the camera, with just the microphone on the camera, and see how that footage. Because my GoPros that I use, that's what I did a lot. You can look back at some of my footage when I'm either on the Bobcat or the excavator and I'm filming from the piece of equipment and I'm talking. That was with my GoPro, but it overheated when I built the shop, and so I hadn't been able to use it anymore. So I get out and I've got the tripod set up and I'm filming content. I'm replacing a light in the kitchen, so I had to do some modifications to the light to get it to work. So I filmed probably 4 or 5 separate clips. I'm stopping the camera. And the great thing about the DJI camera is it's got 2 screens. It's got a back screen and a front screen. So if you're in front of the camera, you can see how you are framed in the video. And so I'm filming this content and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. And so I'm in here in the shop filming some of the content, and all of a sudden the camera starts beeping and it shuts off. And I was like, what? So I thought maybe a timer or something was on the camera that I hadn't went in the settings, and it only videoed for so long and then it automatically shut off. So I'm messing with the camera. The camera is a black screen, but all of the different menu options that you can pick will open, but the camera screens are black, and the camera was hot. And I was like, well, this don't seem right at all. So take it in the house and look at YouTube to see if anybody's had problems with them. And there's some footage on YouTube. If you get the black screens with the cameras, you might as well return them, because the only way that they're ever going to work again is if you either send them to DJI and have them fix them, or just return it and get another one. The modem or something to do with the lens fails, and so I guess the camera's getting hot because it's trying to figure out what's going on. And so anyway, I changed batteries. I did all these different things. I factory reset it, made sure that it just wasn't something that I did. So at this point, I'm like, man, this sucks. I've been through all this running around today to get these mics. I'm ready to actually get out, use the cameras. Plus I went through all the stuff with the invoices canceling on me when I was originally trying to order. It took 3 invoices to get the cameras ordered. Then I ordered the mics from eBay and they're wrong. And I was like, this has just turned out to be a disaster. But I'm gonna stay positive about it. So after just figuring out that, hey, this camera's toast, and they're not cheap. And so it was about, let's see, it was about 6:30 last night. I or about 6 o'clock, I will say, I called Best Buy and said, explained to the Best Buy person. And again, this person, I called the store closest to me, which is 20 something miles away. And he goes, yeah, this is Douglasville store. And I said, are you in the store? He goes, I'm the rep for Douglasville. I said, are you physically in that store? No. I don't think he was physically in America. I forgot to ask that question. I should have. But anyway, tell him what's going on. And he's like, yeah. And keep in mind, these cameras were hard to get. They don't sell the regular ones and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, he tells me, he says, hey, there's one other kit, or there is more kits like you bought that are available, but you can't just go buy the camera. You got to buy this kit. That's all that's available. And I was like, okay. And he goes, I'm going to put in here that we've had this conversation. You just box up everything that you've got, take it to the store. They'll issue you a refund, or they'll do an exchange and put the other one on order for you, and you'll get it by the 28th of November. I'm like, all right. So if I go to the store in the morning when they open and turn in all this stuff, they'll ship me a new camera by the 28th. Yes, sir. All that stuff, I've entered in all that information. So I talked to Melody, and we got a lot going on today. It's early Sunday morning, but we got a lot to do today. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drive up there tonight. It was, by this time, it was 6:30. I was like, it'd take me probably 30 minutes to get there. I'll just turn them in tonight, get it on order, and that way tomorrow we're kind of free to do whatever we want to do. So I drive to Best Buy, walk in with my box, and this is a pretty good sized box. I mean, this camera is like a regular GoPro camera, but all the stuff they send you, it's in a box, big box, 3 or 4 inches thick, a foot by foot box. And I walk in, and the guy goes, all right, what you got? I said, well, I talked to your online rep, and he interrupted me and says, they don't know what they're talking about. And I already kind of knew this, but that's the only way that you can deal with Best Buy if you call on the phone. He goes, yeah, they don't know anything. And so I told him what they had told me. He says, well, I can tell you there's probably not going to be any notes in there. He says, but go over here to the counter, we'll take care of you. So I go over to the counter. Sure enough, none of the information that he had told me he had logged in was on the notes for my account. The camera that he said available wasn't available. So after spending about 20 minutes in there, I just told the guy, I said, listen, refund my purchase back to my credit card, and I'll just find it somewhere else. At this point, Best Buy, let me put it this way. If Best Buy doesn't change their business practice, they will be out of business within the next couple of years. They're horrible. Online is a big thing, but here's my recommendation. If you're going to buy anything from Best Buy, don't buy it if it's not physically in that store. And they told me, he says, well, we don't have phones in the stores, which don't really make any sense, because I guess they expect the employees to call the police or fire department or an ambulance from their cell phones. It seems like a liability issue there. They've got to have a phone in that store. But like they said, they can't even call from store to store to confirm stuff. But anyway, Best Buy is going to be out of business just because of the website is trash. The customer service is horrendous. The people in the store try to help in some cases, but there's some strange characters that they hire in some of those stores. I forget which store it was in here recently when we were looking for these things. I think it was the one in Florida, maybe. Very strange characters. I think they might have been a fluffy, furry, I don't know what they were. But anyway, so I get back home last night and, well, I leave Best Buy, headed home. And I called Melody because while I was telling him just to refund me, I'll find it somewhere else. He says, probably try Amazon. And so I called Melody on the way home. She has a Prime account. She goes, oh yeah, right, here's what you're looking for. So she ordered it for me while I was on the way home. And I got home and hopefully all is well. You know, the store told me, says, hey, it'll take 2 to 5 business days for them to refund your credit card. We have to process this return. And I'm thinking, you just scanned it with your scanner, it should be processed. But I did get an email last night, plus he gave me a receipt. Did get an email later on last night that the credit had gone back to my credit card, so that's good. So now I just got to solve the issue with the seller sending me the wrong camera, which I'm just going to or the wrong mics from eBay. I'm just going to return those and get a refund. But here I am in the shop Sunday morning early. It's been a whirlwind of a crap show with Best Buy over the last week and a half. So just beware, if you're dealing with Best Buy, you're in for some disappointment, because they do not have their act together there. And if I don't need something specifically, that Best Buy is the only store that has it going forward, I probably won't go back in there. It's a disorganized disaster from the website. The only good thing about it is there's some good people that work there. But other than that, just like the warehouse saying they can't find it. Even when I went to the store in Alabama and he found the microphones, it took him 5 minutes in a 3x3 cage to find the box that these mics were in. That's how unorganized their stuff is. You know, they can't go up, they don't put things in where you can just go up there and scan it with their little scanner and it tells them what it is. No, it looked like you just dumped it in there when I was watching him go through that. So anyway, Best Buy is, mark my word, they're going to be out of business. And it could be a great store, but people are going to get tired of dealing with the online side of it, and probably half to 3/4 of the businesses now are you order stuff online and you either get it shipped to you or you order it online and go to the store and pick it up. So anyway, so that's where we are. I know this has gone way long, but I thought I would share my experience with Best Buy. If you go down that trail, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. But the only success I had with Best Buy through all this, I mean, they did send it and it failed. So I'm not blaming Best Buy that the camera failed, but the best experience was when I went. He spent 5 minutes searching for it and found it. So only buy if it's in the store. Don't let them tell you, oh, we'll order it, and none of that. It's a disaster. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this episode up. I had some content that was gonna fill in after me mowing the lawn, but my camera crapped itself, my new camera. So I even pulled the SD card out of it, tried to save the footage that way. And I guess when the camera crapped itself, that it corrupted the SD drive or something. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching. Remember, if you like our content, subscribe, share it with your friends. Hopefully, the next episode, I've got it filmed on the new camera and I've got better things to say. Thanks for watching.